I met my friend Carlito many years ago, and it's truly a miracle how people come together. We think we're in control sometimes, but sometimes people walk into your life and you have no control over how that's going to affect you.
I met Paul in New Mexico. I'm originally from New Mexico. Uh, he ended up living a quarter mile down the road.
There was a house across the street that for 10 years I told Carlos, I want to buy that house, I want to buy that house. And one day I went to the realtor, the day it went for sale on the market, and the realtor said, oh, it's sold, a doctor bought it.
We quickly became friends, as well as our kids and spouses became best of friends. Then they were there only a year, a very short time, and then they moved back to Ohio.
It's a great relationship. It's great for us, it's great for our kids. We have a lot of commonalities. I think we have a lot of eccentricities actually between us all, and lots of things that we want and things we aspire to be.
And my wife is an educator, and she slowly started gaining interest in Ohio. Ohio education is pretty progressive, so she started to research, and we decided to make the move.
Early time in our friendship, we really enjoyed not only just our company, but we augmented that experience with a sip or two of distilled liquid, tequila, grappa, ouzo. It's not because we needed it, but because it focused our energies in a way. We became the closest of friends, and this led to a series of trips that we took to Greece to study how people distilled raki.
At first we were like, wow, that's kind of crazy. Why, we barely know these people. Why would we go? And then we thought, you know what, let's go. So that year we decided to go to Greece. He said, you get there, that's all you have to do, just get there and I'll find a place for you to stay in the village. So we arrived there, and this is the Cretan hospitality. We don't know anybody there. They know that Paul and Anna have guests, and we walk into the village, and an elderly lady says, wait, stop. And she runs into her place. She comes out with a tray with shot glasses and her own made raki, the product we're hoping to make soon, and invites us all to a drink. So this is the Cretan hospitality. This is what you see on a daily basis there. They have a true zest for life.
The experience, the village that they have a house in that we go to, it's so raw and so, it's just so real. And so I really love that. The kids play till midnight. We build bikes out of bike parts that we find for the kids, and they ride around the village, and the people are so real. And I don't know, I think it just kind of takes me back to a place where I know that we should be all together in places that we're not really allowed to be in America and the society that we live in now.
We've been to Greece several times. In the summer we go more a vacation with the family, but in the winter time in Greece during October, November, I don't know if it's 2 months or it could be up to 10 weeks, they're allowed to distill, not personally, they have to go to a facility that distills alcohol. So everybody, pretty much, any villager would have a small plot of land where they produce grapes and their vegetables for the summer, and then they produce wine from the grapes. Then they take the pressings and they re-ferment those. Then those are taken to a distillery. Now, during these 10 weeks, the guy has a permit and he's allowed to pretty much run 24/7.
I think the dream probably all started with experiencing it and just experiencing the fun part of the culture and just bringing it back here and talking. I mean, Paul, years ago would talk about, if we could just do this here, we could do this here, and we could share this experience with people, and this is something we can do. And I think it just kind of evolved.
In the process, we fell in love with not just the consumption, which is always fun, but really the production and the culture and the passion around the whole process. And so one day we were sitting with Carlos and Jeff, who was also one of the initial founding fathers, so to speak. And we said, why are we cherishing these few liters that we bring every year from Crete and treating them like liquid gold and not drinking them for months because we're worried we're not going to have enough? What if we made our own? And thus was born the idea of creating Mill Street Distillery. And
that's really where we started to learn, or at least where I started to learn, that this is something that we need to share with others. This is a product that we should share.
We started researching what the legalities were to start a distillery. Off the record, we tried some home distilling, off the record, to see if it was feasible. My former life, before I was a surgeon, I was a chemical engineer, so I knew a little bit about distillation. And we found that we could do an excellent job on our own. We didn't need to buy store-bought liquor. And once we realized we had the capacity to do so, we began researching in earnest what it would take to form a corporation and then apply for a permit. And it's taken probably just about a year now since we actually formally started our corporation and started the work towards getting a federal permit to distill. And we're hoping that in the next few weeks we'll have it.
We have 32 investors, from very small investors to very large investors. But what we love about it is that people recognize our passion for this project, and they jumped on board. In fact, the last few shares we had people fighting over, and we never expected that kind of response. And I think that's what's going to be the driving force behind this company.
Of course, when you start a business like this, you have to have a place to do it. And Carlos and I and Jeff are we're romantics, and we really were looking for the right place. We didn't want it just to be a warehouse that we would be sitting in. We wanted to have character, and we wanted to be able to do something that's, we've envisioned it being a destination for people to come and visit and actually participate in how it's distilled and tasting and that kind of thing. One day I saw this mill right here, and it said space for rent. So I called Carlos immediately. I said, look, he's offering it for a very inexpensive price. Let's take a look at it. And the moment we looked inside the place, we realized immediately this whole property was magical for us. I mean, it provided us with everything we were looking for. A safe, modern building that was secure so that we could produce, and yet we have buildings that were from the early 1900s and late 1800s that had charisma and character. And the potential was enormous. So the owner of the property was a fellow that also immediately I realized was going to be a long and good friend, a longtime friend. And I just simply said, hey, you want to sell the property? And he goes, sure.
So what we have here is just a basic concrete building where we have an office, a storage area, and then we have all our equipment. We also have a kitchen area. We're planning to do tastings in glass, so we needed to have a kitchen area. That's all been put in since we took over. The stills, they're all copper. The interesting thing about the stills is we found online, doing some research, we found the oldest continuous coppersmith in the United States is here in Ohio. So we commissioned them to build our stills. They are true craftsmen. They do beautiful work, absolutely amazing. It's all copper. The reason for copper is copper can neutralize a lot of the bad flavors and tannins that you don't want. So you actually have a chemical reaction. So the more surface area you have, the better your product's gonna be. Our wives joked the day that we picked up the still that we were bringing home a new girlfriend, because we talked so much about the still and how beautiful it was and how voluptuous it was.
I think the distillery is going to focus on several things. First off, we really want to focus on homegrown local products. And by that I mean, you know, everybody hears the term moonshine and they think, oh my, that's illegal. And they don't understand that moonshine is illegal because people down in Tennessee and North Carolina do it illegally, not because the production is illegal. So we want to produce a legal moonshine. And we've coined the phrase, moonshine is not a crime. So we want to create good moonshine from local corn, organic as much as possible, and support local industries.
Well, Ohio, Governor Kasich recognized that micro distilleries are a viable business and they can create revenue for the state. There's several in Ohio, different types of operations. We're doing a pot still, which is something more traditional, much like we saw in Greece. You get more flavors coming through. It takes a little bit more care as far as the distillation process.
But we're definitely going to promote alcohol in moderation and only to enjoy friends. You know, alcohol really shouldn't be something you do by yourself. It'd be like saying, you know, living by yourself. It's not for hermits. It's for culture. It's for people. It's for gatherings. It's for friends to share moments. It's not for getting drunk. That's not at all what we want to convey.
The short-term goal is to get our license, of course. As soon as we get our license, we're going to be ready to make alcohol. Initially, it's going to be corn whiskey until the seasonal varietals come off.
I think it's going to be huge. I think it's going to be like a major distillery in the world. It's going to become something that, if we stick with it, will be just like Seagram's or Maker's Mark or Jack Daniel's, something that's going to be on every store in the world, and it will be producing Ohio grappa, which will be hard to believe, and also moonshine that'll be of quality, that tastes good, that will reverse the concept of this disgusting thing that you use to clean off wax on your floor. You know, it'll be something that you want to drink and enjoy and celebrate, you know, get-togethers with.
Well, I'm always of the group. I'm the hesitant, almost pessimistic person, if you will. But just seeing the amount of people who are interested in supporting it and just in having conversation with people, I feel better about it now, and I know it'll be a great thing. But I think aside from, I've had to just kind of tell myself it's really not about what it's going to bring to us monetarily. It's really about the experience. And I think so far it's been great. I think it'll be fine.
That the universe gave us the fruits and the brain to then distill it and make it into something that makes you see the universe is this cycle that impassions us. The universe through us to the universe. And that's I think what really drives the passion behind everything. There's something out there that we can't explain. And I know for me, a glass of wine, a shot of raki, all of a sudden it becomes clear to you.